You might have not wanted to have sex either, but you did.
Oh, you were acting like it was 3 hours.
Look at shit. I'm the wife, baby. You the one who was going back and forth.
What do you think he did?
I loved Mr. Ahmad, but I wasn't in love with him.
Let's pause for translation.
This needs to provide
on different pages. You all are in different books.
I didn't even have a phone. Like a month ago before you just went with the other lady.
Why didn't you show up to the DNA test, young man?
Ms. McKeever was convinced that Mr. Arnold is the one and only father of her 3-year-old bundle of joy. And guess what? Defendant, joined by his ever-so-supportive aunt, insists that baby mama love life is a real page-turner and he's the lucky one stuck with child support duties.
For your son.
Well, actually, he has not done anything for my son. My sister has been playing a big role in my son's life, far as buying him diapers, if I need money to get my kids clothes.
But he's on child support?
Yes.
But you've never gotten anything?
I never got anything.
Not a dime yet?
Not a dime.
And so you're suing for child care expenses you've incurred thus far?
Yes.
Mr. Arnold, along with his trusty sidekick Aunt Henderson, claims that Ms. McKeever admitted to some extracurricular activities with not one, but 2 other gentlemen. Oh, I see where this court session is headed. He denies being Kenneth's dad, all while being on child support. Impressive multitasking, right?
Young man.
Transportation to get to this place.
But look where it ended up. This happens in this courtroom way too much. Young men in your position, you come to court and you say, this is not my child, Your Honor, this is not my child, Your Honor. And then when I ask, did you have an opportunity to take a DNA test? Well, I couldn't get there. I didn't have no ride. I didn't have those. We get a ride to go everywhere else we want to go.
Despite being on child support, Mr. Arnold's wallet seems to be on vacation. Ms. McKeever hasn't received a single dime from him for their son's expenses. She's here today to claim her share, a hefty $1,796 for diapers, shoes, and baby couture. But who's taking care of the child all this time?
Because she can't take care of the child. You not taking care of the child. I want to hear from your sister, ma'am. State your name, ma'am.
I'm Shakiria Cox.
Miss Cox, thank you for joining us today. So you've been stepping up to the plate as it relates to Kenneth.
Yes, ma'am, I have.
And you've been helping out.
Yes, ma'am, I have.
Paying for expenses.
Haircuts, shoes, clothes, milk, anything that little boy needs. If she calls me, he have it.
When Mr. Arnold and Ms. McKeever got together, our innocent plaintiff was already with another man. And by the time she decides to move in with the new man, the previous one left, sounds like a game of musical chairs. But hold on, that dude did show up banging the door, saying hello. Anybody home?
So me and him, we messed around on that day. Around January 18th, I end up going to the doctor because I get my 6-month checkup. The lady ended up telling me I was 6 weeks pregnant. The last person who I had intimate with was the other dude.
And you submitted a calendar to the court?
Yes.
Pretty much you were with Mr. Arnold, having sex with him unprotected, you said.
Yes.
Pretty much the whole month of December, but...
Ms. Henderson, with a dash of skepticism, raises an eyebrow at the timing of events. She finds it rather convenient that Ms. McKeever allegedly conceived a child with Mr. Arnold within a mere 48 hours while also having been involved with another man throughout a month. But when the pregnancy news came in, let's see what happened.
She done blocked him out for 2 years, blocked him off of Facebook, no contact. 2 years later, this girl pop up and tell him she need to talk to him. When she gets him and talk to him, she tell him that she did the DNA for the other guy, and he not the daddy. Christopher wanted a copy of the DNA test.
After 2 years, you finally did the DNA with the other guy?
It was his. So they contacted me and they sent me a paper in the mail. I had a DNA test done.
What a gimmick. If science has already given the verdict, why bother? Well, like they say it happens all the time. How about we just call in for some spot the difference game here? Come on, Ms. McKeever. That's just racist on the poor child.
That little boy don't know nothing like us.
No, I don't have the evidence with me.
And she wouldn't let us get a copy, and she wouldn't let us take a picture of it so we could have some evidence.
When you said Kenneth was 1 year old, you said you felt like he looked like Mr. Arnold.
Yes.
Did you say anything to Mr. Arnold then? Say, oh, this...
Well, folks, there is no point fighting over appearance. So how about we just leave it to the professionals? So here's Judge Lake giving away the final verdict. So let's see what the concealed enveloped holds for the poor baby.
Mr. Arnold, you are his father.
Step up, baby. Just step up. We want it. That's what we here for. The DNA, the truth.
What I want to hear, young man.
How will you feel if your brief fling gets converted into a paternity dispute? For sure you will wish for it to never happen. Something similar happened to Ms. Nash. Who was claiming that? Mr. Brewer is the father of her 7-month-old daughter. Now she seeks acknowledgement of his parental responsibilities. Let's find out what happens.
So, Ms. Nash, has the defendant helped at all with your daughter?
No, Your Honor, not at all. He hasn't bought a pamper. He hasn't bought a bottle, not a bottle of water, nothing.
And Zion is 7 months old?
Yes, ma'am.
So what is that like, having to care for a newborn alone with no help?
It's absolutely horrible.
Well, that's about right. What else do you expect from the man? When you, yourself, Ms. Nash, had labeled your relationship a brief fling. Adding to the mix, Mr. Brewer asserted that he had no obligation to assist. Their relationship kicked off as neighbors. And you know right, the infamous Mr. Fix-It-to-Rescue. But wait, just listen to this.
I really just kind of expected for you to just help, you know, a little bit more. I mean, honestly, it's not any at all. So I really just expected just a little bit more from
But if you're not sure she's mine, why should I?
We had sex, Josh.
Yeah, we did.
It's a possibility. The possibility is what should have had you there.
Wait, what? On one end, you are claiming the baby to him, and Mr. Brewer should be helpful and all that. But what's the point? When your entire theory is based upon a possibility. Come on, lady, have some respect for yourself.
So, Mr. Brewer, you obviously feel like that's too much of a window for you.
Yes, Your Honor.
So take me back, how did this sexual relationship begin?
So for the most part, like I said, we are neighbors. We live in the same apartment building. It was just simply neighbor things. Hey, how you doing? Running to them in the hallway. And then it turned into personal when I ended up needing help in my apartment.
She turned me into Mr. Fix-It.
Well, the stove fixing did lead to them having dinner, and later, the desert. Oh boy, the encounter ended up without the protection. Even now, this wasn't even a committed relationship. How about we listen to the day where Ms. Nash finds out about the pregnancy?
Maybe the next day, I think I called him and we sat down and talked about it.
So you did?
Yes, ma'am.
How did that conversation go?
She texted me and asked me was I busy at the time. I'm like, nah, I'm in the house making me some breakfast or whatever. And she come down, I ain't got no shirt on and nothing, Mr. Sexy. So I'm just sitting there, she talking to me, and she like, I'm pregnant. She sat on the couch, I'm pregnant. I immediately told her, like, we need a DNA test.
But hold one, since now the baby was born, Ms. Nash in her mind cooked a recipe that says, oh, that baby belongs to Mr. Brewer. Talk about some magnifying observation. Right, let's focus on the breakdown analysis of the physical features. Now that's being called racist on the baby.
You submitted evidence to the court, a diagram, which you say outlines those similar features.
Absolutely, Your Honor.
You say Zion has the same receding hairline as Mr. Brewer.
Look at what he did to my baby. I don't have a receding hairline.
Feature number 2. You say
that
Zion has the same round head as Mr. Brewer.
But before you all get too carried away with the baby similarity dilemma, how about you just listen to the core of doubt that Mr. Brewer had it in his mind? In fact, he did bring an exhibition to support what he believed.
Seen her walk in her apartment with another man.
Okay, all right.
So
I don't have to
You submitted an exhibit?
Now, this is a map of our hallway. She's coming in with another man. Got it like this.
You should have said hey.
Well, I spoke to both of y'all.
You should have said hey.
I spoke to both of them.
Oh, okay. I don't remember.
You said what's up,
back.
he said what's up. I'm looking at them, they finna get dirty. I'm already knowing.
All right, since now most of the facts are cleared and Judge Lake had taken enough into account, it was now time for the revelation of the DNA results. So how about we now focus on the long story short? Buckle up, Paternity peeps, here is what happened next.
Mr. Brewer, you are the father. You are the father. That's
Can I have an apology,
little girl.
please?
I apologize.
All right, Paternity peeps. Mr. Ahmad was overjoyed to prove he's Nevaeh's father. Despite Ms. Day's brutal honesty from the start, she kindly plans to reveal another potential dad. With so much at stake, it's clear this case is a real roller coaster of emotions, isn't it?
This is to be my first child. So I was overjoyed. She was high risk, so she couldn't work. So what I did, I tried to do as best as a man that I could do to
And
help.
you all were in what kind of relationship? Committed, or were you just casual friends, or what?
Boyfriend and girlfriend.
Boyfriend and girlfriend, okay. And so you found out she was pregnant and you were excited because this was your very first child.
Yes.
Our good old plaintiff was excited about pregnancy, as it was his first child. To add more to his emotions, Mr. Ahmad had previously experienced the loss of a child due to an ectopic pregnancy. And now you wonder the hurt and disappointment he must have felt after hearing the news of him not being the father.
He said he wanted to be her father and he would be there for us.
Talk to me about the relationship from your point of view.
It was more of a friendship for me. I loved Mr. Ahmad, but I wasn't in love with him. It was just, he was there for me, and I needed somebody to be there for me.
And how I found out she was pregnant, and it knocked on my window and said, well, I need to talk to you, and this is your child.
What? Well, one thing was definitely clear. They probably had poor communication among each other. Mr. Ahmad, don't just get your hopes high, as there was a visible disconnect. But a shocking revelation comes to light. Just listen to Ms. Day.
Every day.
That's not true. We didn't even get along that much. I was not at his house every day. We argued so much, I never lived with him. Like, he would, when I spent the night, some nights he would kick me out at 2 in the morning.
Why are you so upset now? Because you feel...
I just feel like he trying to make me seem like a bad person when
No,
he
ma'am.
know that
No,
I
ma'am.
told him this might not
No,
be his
ma'am.
baby.
But paternity peeps, we just call it a situationship. Moving forward to the birth certificate. All right, since now we know how enthusiastic the wannabe daddy Mr. Ahmad was, let's just see how he handles his emotions at the hospital.
I was present the entire time she was pregnant. I cut the umbilical cord. I signed the birth certificate. After the baby was born, we left the hospital together. Matter of fact, her mother picked me up to go have when the baby was being delivered. Her own mother drove me to the hospital.
So, Ms. Day, was he present as the father of this child at the hospital?
He was present, yes, he was. But he was present because he wanted to be.
But wait, why does Ms. Day think it's not Mr. Ahmad's child? If the man is just so up for the deal, why don't you just let him enjoy everything in his mind? There has to be curious revelation that we all might be missing.
I wasn't in a relationship with him, but I never messed with another man while I was sexually involved with Mr. Ahmad. This is something that happened before I was sexually involved with him.
Are you saying the other man, you truly believe this other man is Nevaeh's biological father?
Yes.
Why do you believe that?
Because she looks like his kids. She looks like him. She don't look like Mr. Ahmad at all anymore.
So everything comes down to how the baby looks. Isn't that just racist? However, Judge Lake did her little investigation of the case and came up with some social media posts. Ms. Day expressed her appreciation for Mr. Ahmad's support and care. She later expressed that the child looked like Mr. Ahmad initially, but now looked more like Mr. Flowers.
Everything been cool all the way up to this baby situation occurred. When it occurred, she told me to be a 50-50 chance. I left the situation right there and went on about my way.
But she says you take care of Nevaeh now.
Yeah, she be with me at work and everything.
She does?
Yes,
and
ma'am.
so when you're with her, do you feel like this is my little girl, or?
I just don't know, Judge. Like he said, he here to find out, and I'm here to find out.
Okay, so now we have recorded all the three in the spotlight: Mr. Plaintiff, Ms. Defendant, and potential father, number 2. It was now time for Judge Lake to blow the curtain down. So fasten your seatbelts, because now we were all in a whirlpool ride.
The biological father is Mr. Flowers. Mr. Flowers, you are the father.
Yeah, that's mine. That's my baby.
All right, we've gathered here today for another episode of Is He or Isn't He? The plaintiff, Miss Lewis, has graced us with her presence, convinced that the defendant, Mr. Pippin, is secretly the father of her children. But fear not, folks. Mr. Pippin and his girlfriend, Miss Sanders, have undeniable proof that they were about to unleash.
Children. Because she's a liar, she's a cheater, and I have proof
Your
I'm not
Honor.
the father.
No, I was with this man since I was young. I had his back through everything. When she kicked him out, he came crying to me. When he had nowhere to go at, when you had nowhere to go at, you came home to me. And you would have knocked both of them, and you asked me to have them. Not once, but twice.
Your Honor, that right there, I did ask her to have my child, but
I was with you.
Let me just give you a quick review. There isn't just one child at stake, but 2. Whoa! Number 1 on the paternity list we had was baby Quayshawoon. However, the plaintiff had various doubts when it came to both. How about we just focus on baby number 1?
I met him, his mother was a bus driver at my school. One day he came home from the group home and he was riding the bus with her. I was about 15, 16. Okay, fast forward, 2009. Me and Mr. Pippin got closer. He was dating Miss Sanders, but she doesn't know this. That's when she had a little red truck. He came to my house. I was home by myself. We had sex the very first time in 2009. Okay, fast forward to 2010. Again, I had moved into another apartment. He moved in with me.
So this was basically an on and off relationship, and the defendant was supposed to be with the Ms. Sanders when he was hitting the bed with Ms. Plaintiff. Just wow. Just here, why does Mr. Defendant have doubts about the baby being his?
because the time around when she got pregnant, I wasn't down here I wasn't in Greenville at the time when she got pregnant.
So you're saying it's a timing issue?
Yes, ma'am. I was staying in Tarboro at the time with Miss Sanders.
I have the proof from y'all if you want to see.
I would like to see the proof. Jerome, please pass that to me.
Was on May 25th when I was with Mr. Pippen because he kept blowing my phone and popping up at my house. So I can't be with somebody and he kept popping up.
It all came down to the good old game of spotting the difference. And guess what? This whole case couldn't just get any more racist on the poor baby. Just hear how Judge Lake discusses the comparison with Mr. Pippen and Ms. Lewis.
What are you feeling, Ms. Lewis?
He don't even like you because you walked on him when he was 7 months old. He said, Dad, 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 Dad. And you walked out the front door and slammed like you never heard him call you. That boy looked just like your dumb tail. My baby, he didn't ask to be here. You asked me to have him. And now he's here. You want to take care of him.
Please explain, Ms. Sanders, what this
evidence
evidence is.
On the right side is my child that I have with Mr. Pippen.
In this dramatic exchange, Mr. Pippen presents a DNA test result indicating he's not the father of Miss Lewis's children. Miss Lewis and her witness, Miss Slade, recall Mr. Pippen's suspicious behavior on the day of the test, while Mr. Pippen insists on his innocence.
So you claim he took a DNA test?
Yes, Sean.
And manipulated the results to compromise them.
Sean.
How do you think he did that?
Anything, because I don't take much to throw off your DNA, especially Mr. Pippen, because he don't like taking care of his children as is. All 4 of them.
Mr. Pippen vehemently defends himself, asserting that he couldn't have manipulated the DNA test as he was holding his daughter during the process and only briefly used the bathroom without any suspicious behavior. Come on, give this man a break! But hold on, how about we just go straight to the results? All right, Judge, show us some DNA.
It has also been determined by this court, Mr. Pippen, you are his father.
Thank you.
I told you.
This energy between all of you is just so toxic. I'm worried for the children.
All right, this one's a real head-scratcher. How often will you see a wife wanting to defend her husband? And that too when alleged infidelity is involved. She must be an angel. Meet Ms. Johnson. She came to court desperate to prove that her husband isn't the biological father of Ms. Davis twins.
I just want to prove it so we can move on with our life. I want Ms. Davis out of our lives for good. It's bringing problems with us and with me and my mother-in-law.
And so how is this affecting your marriage, Mr. Johnson?
I just feel like we'll have a lot more closure if I go ahead and find out if they're mine or not.
So you admit you're a married man and you're torn between 2 women now?
Basically, but now I'm not gonna say now because me and Ms. Davis don't have any more dealing.
That's right, you just can't dodge the DNA queen. And just like that, the AKA responsible husband did admit to having a relationship with Ms. Davis. And you know what that calls for, a paternity doubt with a capital D. But is anyone aware of the dude being already married?
No, not really until like a couple years, probably like a year or so. I seen the little married pictures on Facebook or whatever. So I'm like, so when this come about, you know?
Did you confront him about, are you married?
No, I ain't confronting him, but you know, I asked him about it because it ain't my concern because you ain't my man, you know?
And so what did he say?
I want to be with you and, you know, we'll get the papers and we can go from there. I got the papers. Okay.
Oh, you told him to get the papers as in divorce papers?
Yeah.
Okay, here's the juicy twist according to Ms. Johnson. She found out about the pregnancy of Ms. Davis because they both went to the same doctor. What? It means the plaintiff was also pregnant at the same time. Yeah, you got that right? What a coincidence. But wait, Ms. Davis had never informed anyone about her pregnancy, or did she?
I heard that the twins might be my grands, so I asked Ms. Davis were they my grands, and she said no, ma'am. I think after she had them, I asked her again, and I said, well, bring them back so I can see them. And she brought them to my house. I think they were maybe 4 or 5 months, and I looked at them, and I said, well, this one looks like his son. And I said, so you sure that's something that you don't need to tell me? And she just smiled like she's doing now.
Mr. Johnson's mother immediately went racist on the poor babies. I mean, like, after seeing the baby, she instantly started to question the skin tone and the features. Come on! But deep in heart, she was willing to accept if they actually belonged to her son.
Got married, we will be married 1 year, June 11th. Me and my husband met 5 years ago. I was the very first girl that he met, so I'm the very first one. So they always tell my mother-in-law, like, I knew him first. No, I knew him first. Me and him been rocking years. I'm not going nowhere. No matter whatever we go through, he always tell me. I even asked my husband, do he want a divorce? No, I'm not leaving you for nobody.
Ah, man, I wish I had a girl like that. But really, Mr. Johnson, to put a woman like her in a situation like that, you better be ashamed. But just look how Ms. Johnson's been willing to put everything on the line for the alleged baby daddy. Every time it's the same, two women fighting for the same man.
Not going nowhere.
Excuse me,
We're
Your Honor, he
contempt.
told
We're
me to
happy
go
in
get
our
his
marriage.
clothes.
It don't matter who he's with.
Don't
he's
do
with
that,
me
baby.
Now. I'm not going nowhere. So
It don't matter. I don't care
So
about
wait
that.
a minute,
You done
wait a
over
minute,
with.
Miss
You the one
Davis.
looking stupid, not me, baby.
Wait a
no,
minute.
I'm not looking stupid. I'm the wife, baby. You the one who's going back and forth
No,
with
baby,
Jay.
because I didn't
Hold on,
bend
hold
over
on,
with.
hold on.
I didn't
I'm not
bend
going
over with,
nowhere.
honey.
Not going nowhere.
Ladies.
Ms. Davis acknowledges that she initially denied Mr. Johnson's paternity of the twins, but now believes that one of the twins, the girl, is indeed his biological daughter. But again, we wonder how she was so sure. Yeah, the good old spot, the difference game. Here, have a look.
Davis, your daughter on the right, and you believe you see similarities.
Look at the cheekbones, look at the nose, the eyes, the hair, definitely.
Mr. Johnson, when you look at the picture, do you see the similarities?
Other than the one she pointed out, no.
So you don't really feel like these are compelling similarities?
No, I don't never go by no pictures.
With me, I'm seeing the similarity between his son and her son.
Can somebody please make these people learn the definition of being a racist? Come on! And above all, this court isn't all about pictures or appearances, because looks can be deceiving in this courtroom. So how about we just go to the envelope of truth? Here are the DNA results.
Mr. Johnson, you are not the father. Mr. Johnson, you are not the father.
I'm fine. I know now.
So you know.